You go, Mac. Your turn. This one's awesome.
Wow, 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 wow. Am I really going to post this? I warn you all ahead of time. It will be about sex. And that although open to feedback, I am so happy and feel so free. And yet I imagine it may not resonate with everyone. And I'm okay with that. In sharing it, it feels more real to me. So I stopped at a store to grab some water and cashews for breakfast. On the way to get my hair done. The clerk was very cute. And we both began flirting along with snacks. Flirting and snacks always go well together. Yes. It also happened to be a pipe store, and we both commented how most of the pipes look like little penises. And then he laughed and pulled out one that doubled as a dildo, and we continued flirting for a few minutes. Then he introduced himself and reached across to give me a handshake, and I offered a hug. So he came around the counter and hugged me and asked if I was straight. I, being the open person that I am, talked about how gender makes no difference to me. It's all in the energy and how I'm all about open relating. He leaned forward and kissed me, and it was hot. But he also touched my breast. And all of my childhood trauma came up, and I danced away and said I needed to get going on to my hairdresser. He invited me to come back after. I fled. Many of you know that I was sexually assaulted many times growing up. I have always been ultra sensitive to sexual energy. And even with all of my growth, it's so easy to slip into victim. What is he doing to me mode? Through most of my sexual trauma, the main thing that stuck is that it felt good. I felt so guilty for that part that I liked it. Felt bad about my own extreme sexual nature and felt like I could have stopped it at any time. Fuck. 3 of my attackers said they would stop if anything didn't feel good, and I shamed myself. Decided I was bad because at 7, 8, and 10 I did not say stop. The worst abuse was oral forced on me. And if I made any noise or tried to get away, he would cover my nose too. And my breath and voice were literally taken away. After I left the shop, the entire time that Fred is doing my hair, I'm thinking of this encounter, feeling all the residual guilt, shame, and the ways that I still shrunk my pleasure. Still put a stop to most sexual encounters, unless it is in a controlled environment. I have been blessed and gone out of my way to create many such environments, but controlled nonetheless. So I turned to Fred as he was washing my hair to tell him what had happened and what I was fantasizing about, and he smiles and shares a great story with me about his own life. I realized that there wasn't really any part of me that was interested in being a victim anymore. I was totally turned on, and I wanted to go back and shut the store door, lock it, and say, I get the feeling you want to fuck. Am I correct in that assumption? And see what it would be like to initiate back instead of closing down because I felt something was happening to me. I also had all of my slut stories that came roaring out of the closet. That how would this be sacred, spiritual? How did it coincide with all the aspects of me? Am I really okay being one who wants to be fucked behind a store counter by a complete stranger, a gorgeous stranger, who is totally into me, but a stranger nonetheless? Fred encouraged me to go for it and to check in with him afterwards. Yeah, exactly. I also texted a lover who also said go for it. So as I left the hair salon, my heart was pounding. I almost just slipped away into my car. But I took one step after another and found myself in front of him at the cash register. He smiled, and I smiled back and said my line. He smiled bigger. I bet. Got the keys and locked the door. my kind of guy. We went around the back. I set up a chair, had him sit down while we had the Safe for Sex elevator speech. I just I just happened to have a few condoms in my purse. I took 3 out and had him pick one, which one he wanted. And then we traded spots. Love orchestrating exactly how we would do it. And it was the same, it was some of the hottest sex I had ever experienced. I left there feeling like the most powerful woman in the world, and he was so happy. I had reclaimed my body, my pleasure, my voice. Really let the old victim piece that has followed me in every aspect of my life slip even further away. This is my body. It's my choice. And I joyously say yes, hell yes, to continuing to find my voice. In writing it there, it drops even more story that I would ever have to hide it. That you would think less of me if you knew. I'm telling you in my most delightful bliss that I am not ashamed. I'm not saying if you've ever been victimized, go do what I did. What I'm hoping that in sharing my journey, all the scary, crazy parts too, that it will give you permission to find that thing or things that will help you be able to lay the victim story down, to reclaim your voice, your power, your body, you. We all have the great honor to shine and be us, our own unique selves, 110%. Today I said yes to something that peeled back 30 years of shame and silence and victimhood. And I am so proud and giddy and excited for what may come. Thank you for letting me share.
Thank you for listening, guys. But see, for me, that's the piece, is being able to share that stuff, because even 6 months ago or 6 months before this, I never would have even thought about sharing it with other than, maybe Reed or a couple people in my life that I felt safe to hold that. And so again, this had like 200 and something likes, and people were really resonating, and 7 shares with other people that they were able to share it with. And so for me, that's how Facebook works, is just being able to find, and it started out with maybe 2 sentences, and then it grew to 4 sentences, and now, we have long ones, and I'll have Bella come up and read one more a little later. That was the third choice. It was all about STDs. So it's like being able to write about whatever it is that's super scary to me. And then, yes, save it. Oops.
Is this material going to be used in a book that you're writing?
That will be the later book. The book I'm writing now are Taking Cuddle Party Rules into the Rules of Living.
Thank you.
But yes, this will all be in the book. Asking for what I want. Saying yes to what I'm a yes to. Yes. Yeah, the airport story is in my book. Thank you. Any more questions right now? Yes, Jessica? Oh, Mike.
I really appreciate your share, and my question is about the privacy settings and how you operate on Facebook. I too love to share stories, and I started Facebook back when it was college only. So my profile page for my business is where I post my information and all the stuff we're talking about here. But my personal Facebook page, I currently have it on friends only, and I'm posting things like what I think about a movie or something. And then I have posts like this too. So I'm wondering how you operate. Is this you're considering it only for your professional, or is this mixed? Because I'm seeing that you're doing this public post.
Yes, this is mixed. And for me, when I decided to really reclaim this life, then my family disowned me, my community disowned me. Like, I made the choice to fully step into this. And I know not everybody's ready to do that. So it's great to be able to have different settings. For me, then, like, my whole life is out there. So for a little while, then it was friends only. But now, like the past 2 years, everything's public. Does that answer it for you?
It does. Thank you.
Anyone else? Pamela. Oh, just a second.
So you share a lot with your children on Facebook.
Yes.
They're pretty young. Are they on Facebook?
They are. Riley just got on Facebook. He's my 13-year-old.
Do you exclude them from your posts?
I do not. No.
So what is the reaction of your children? She asks with knowing eyes.
Yeah.
I get this question all the time. Love giving it to you.
I love it, Pamela.
So, Monica, how do you deal with your children reading in public?
Well, I'm very, very open with my children. Like, my youngest has been on this journey with me since he was 5 years old. My oldest, that's 23, has more problems with it. But now he's starting to open up and like, Mom, come do a cuddle party for my college group. So even he's starting to open it. But most of the time, my kids just don't go look at my posts. Like, if they want to come and talk about something, they will. It's harder for them when, like, I posted the near naked pictures wanting to celebrate my body, that then people came and said, family members or other people that were their friends said, why is your mom posting that? And so that was harder for them. And so for them, it's just most of the time they don't want to have pictures. Like, if we go on a family outing or go do something, they're like, you can have one picture, Mom. and they want permission from them before I post things about them. And so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, like, I really, really strongly believe that it's up for parent to parent. And so for me, I feel so much better because I had to hide so much of my life, my entire life, that everything's out there with my kids. They get to ask anything, and that feels really good to me. And we have an amazing, incredible relationship from that. But let's see when they're total adults, and see how that. Maybe they'll go to counseling, but for us. We feel like best friends, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And they'll come to me and they'll talk. Like, we were in line at Disneyland, and they're all, Mommy, will you show us how to put condoms on? And so, I had the condoms in my purse, and so we got a water bottle and like started trying to see how we can put condoms on a water bottle. And that was while we were waiting in the parking line at Disneyland. So, like, it's when they're excited and they want to learn, I let them come to me instead of come read my post with me or come do this. It's them opting in. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where's the microphone, guys? Read.
Spider hunting. Yes, coming. The spider was not harmed.
And I have to say, after spending many, many hours and days with her children, they are the most incredible, self-expressed, well-adjusted children I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you, Cher. All right, Bella, come up, and then we'll let Reed interview me.
One last comment.
Okay.
I think it's really excellent that you're so open with your children, because there are some parents who just wait till they're 12 before they start talking about sexuality, and even expressing affection or lust in front of their children is something that they keep reserved behind the doors of their bedroom. So I really think it's important that sexuality should be expressed fully since they're children, and that parents should be the first teachers of sexuality and not let that be handled in school. So thank you for your openness. It takes a lot of courage.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we do, like, we have a rule at our house that anyone can mark off hours at the house. So if they want self-pleasure, if I'm going to have a lover over, whatever it is, we know that we can mark off hours in the house, and then everyone goes and does their own thing. So we get to have our own safe space to be able to have that without having to have everyone else around, like, hearing the noises and which, they could choose to do that, but at least then we all have permission to opt in or opt out. Mm-hmm.
Just wanted to honor you for doing this, and my men now know exactly what I do, and my younger son helped me to set up the website.
Yay,
so,
Carla.
Yeah.
Thank you, darling. I'm so excited to see how the next generation comes about to being.